At 36, David Mercer found himself at a crossroads he never expected. Married for almost a decade to his wife, Lisa, they had built a life together centered around their small business, a quaint little cafe nestled in the heart of their suburban neighborhood. Each day, they divided responsibilities seamlessly. David managed the finances and customer relations while Lisa crafted the daily specials and decorated the cafe with her artistic flair. Their partnership extended beyond work. They were parents to two young boys, Ethan, 5, and Noah, 2, who filled their home with laughter and joy. David was meticulous, a trait that served him well both as a husband and father. Every evening, he made it a point to help Ethan with his coloring books, patiently guiding him as he experimented with different colors. On weekends, he orchestrated family outings to the local park, where he encouraged his sons to climb, explore, and play. He reveled in creating a loving home, believing that every moment mattered in shaping their future. The family dynamics seemed perfect, filled with warmth, laughter, and a deep sense of devotion. However, the surface of their idyllic life began to ripple during a community blood drive one sunny afternoon. David and Lisa had decided to participate, driven by a sense of civic duty. As they filled out the paperwork, David joked about how they were about to become community heroes. When he received his donor card, he glanced at the blood type noted, "Oh." It was an ordinary moment, yet something in the back of his mind stirred, a whisper of doubt. Later that evening, as they sat down to dinner, David found himself recalling his children's blood types, a seemingly trivial fact he had memorized during his fatherhood journey. But then, a chilling realization crept in. Ethan, their eldest, had been tested in a school health program and received a blood type of A. Noah, only 2, hadn't been tested yet, but Lisa had assured him she was O as well, which should have meant both boys should be the same as David's. The conflicting information sent David spiraling into disbelief. A knot formed in his stomach as he replayed the day's events in his mind, the laughter of his boys turning to whispers of doubt. He couldn't shake the nagging thought, if he was truly their father. Panic set in as he considered the implications of this unsettling possibility. How could he be the father of children with different blood types? With anxiety tightening its grip, David felt the ground beneath him begin to shift, his seemingly perfect life suddenly feeling fragile, poised on the edge of chaos. Determined to uncover the truth, he resolved to take matters into his own hands, setting in motion a series of events that would alter their family's life forever. Determined to find answers, David Mercer spent the following days in a fog of disbelief and anxiety. Every moment at home felt tainted by the growing uncertainty about his family's foundation. He couldn't look at Ethan and Noah without feeling the weight of the question looming over him. Were they truly his sons? The thought gnawed at him, stealing the joy from their playful interactions. After several restless nights, he devised a plan. During a routine visit to a local pharmacy, he spotted a discreet shelf stocked with home paternity test kits. His heart raced as he picked one up, the weight of the box feeling heavier than it should. He quickly grabbed 2, telling himself that it was just a science experiment for the boys, nothing more. The facade of a fun activity would allow him to gather the evidence he desperately needed without raising Lisa's suspicions. That evening, as Lisa took the boys to the park, David seized the opportunity. He retreated to the quiet of their home, the test kits spread out on the dining room table. He felt a mixture of dread and determination, knowing that the results would either confirm his worst fears or bring him relief. With trembling hands, he carefully swabbed the inside of Ethan's cheek, then Noah's, sealing the samples in their respective tubes. When Lisa returned home, the tests were tucked away, and David forced himself to act normal, laughing at the boys' antics as if nothing was amiss. The joy he feigned felt like a mask hiding the turmoil brewing beneath. That night, he lay awake, staring at the ceiling, the silence of their bedroom echoing his inner conflict. What if he wasn't the boy's father? Would he still love them? The questions consumed him. The next few days crawled by, filled with a mixture of hope and dread. Each time the doorbell rang or the phone buzzed, David's heart raced, anticipating the arrival of the test results. He clung to the idea that there had to be a mistake, perhaps a mix-up at the blood drive or an error in the testing process. Finally, the day arrived. As he opened the envelope, his hands shook. The results were printed clearly, neither child was biologically his. The world around him blurred as he processed the devastating reality. It felt as if the ground beneath him had crumbled away. He staggered back, clutching the edge of the table for support, disbelief washing over him. David's heart shattered into a million pieces. How could this be happening? Thoughts raced through his mind, filling him with confusion and anguish. He loved those boys deeply, and yet now, everything felt tainted. He was thrust into a storm of emotions, betrayal, anger, and a profound sense of loss. The very foundation of his family, built on love and trust, now felt like a lie. In that moment, David knew he could no longer ignore the truth. The revelation shattered the illusion of his perfect life, and he was left with a decision to make, a decision that would change everything. In the days following the shocking revelation, David Mercer found himself grappling with an emotional turmoil that felt unbearable. He could barely focus on his work at the cafe, each smile from a customer or laugh from his boys now a painful reminder of the deceit he felt. Every family outing became a facade. He was present physically, but emotionally, he was miles away. Determined to confront the truth, David decided to keep the results of the paternity tests a secret for now. He felt an overwhelming need to collect more evidence before confronting Lisa. He was torn between the love he had for his children and the betrayal that clawed at his heart. One evening, while Lisa was busy preparing dinner, David concocted an elaborate plan to maintain normalcy. He suggested a fun family game night, eager to mask the brewing storm inside him. They played board games, laughter echoing off the walls, but David found it increasingly difficult to engage. He watched as Lisa effortlessly interacted with Ethan and Noah, her face lighting up in a way that only fueled his growing resentment. As the weeks passed, David became a master of pretense, crafting elaborate stories to distract himself from the gnawing anxiety. Yet, beneath the surface, a quiet storm brewed. He wrestled with the realization that the bond he had formed with the boys was based on a lie, an illusion that felt too fragile to hold. He couldn't shake the thought that they weren't really his. Driven by his inner conflict, David decided to buy 2 more home paternity tests, hoping that a different result would somehow ease his pain. It was a futile attempt to cling to a hope that was slipping away. He swabbed his children's cheeks once more, this time with a mixture of dread and desperation. Days turned into an agonizing wait for the results. As he waited, his relationship with Lisa became strained. He noticed the small things, the way she laughed a little too hard at his jokes, the way she lingered a little longer in the kitchen after dinner. It felt as if she were trying to cover something up, and the thought made his skin crawl. Finally, the moment arrived. As he opened the envelope, a sense of impending doom washed over him. The test results confirmed what he had feared: neither child belonged to him. His heart raced as he grappled with the weight of the evidence in his hands. In that instant, David knew he had to confront Lisa. The thought of her reaction terrified him, but the truth could no longer be ignored. The facade of their perfect life had crumbled, and he was left with a choice: to face the reality of betrayal head-on or to allow the pain to fester in silence. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a shadow over their home, David prepared himself for the inevitable confrontation that would shatter their family forever. The confrontation was inevitable, a storm brewing on the horizon. David Mercer paced the living room, his heart racing and mind spinning with anger, betrayal, and sorrow. He glanced at the framed family photos on the walls, moments frozen in time that now felt like cruel reminders of a life built on deception. The laughter captured in those images seemed to mock him, and he knew he couldn't delay the reckoning any longer. When Lisa finally returned home, the house felt charged with an unspoken tension. The kids were in bed, blissfully unaware of the turmoil unfolding in their parents' lives. David steeled himself, determined to find the words that had eluded him for so long. He called Lisa into the living room, his voice steady despite the storm of emotions raging within him. "Lisa, we need to talk," he began, forcing the words out. She looked at him, her brow furrowing in confusion. "It's about the boys." The air felt heavy, and David could see the gears turning in her mind as she braced herself for what was to come. He took a deep breath and revealed the results of the paternity tests. "I got the tests back,"